This call is now being recorded.
All right. Okay. So good morning, class. This is teacher Kendra, and I am the one who will facilitate your class for today. I hope everyone is in their best shape today. So welcome to our class. So today is August 12, 2021. It's 10:49 a.m. on my clock, and I have two participants on this Google meeting. So before we formally begin, kindly check yourselves and your places. Be sure to make your study area clean and free from any distraction so that you can focus more on our discussion. Are we good on that, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you. And also, I have here a few reminders for us to have a smooth discussion. Okay, so the first one is kindly tap the mute button to avoid getting background noises that may distract the class. So for those students who are experiencing technical problems or their internet connection is fluctuating as of the moment, you may type in your answers on our Google Meet chat box. And the second reminder is tap the raise hand button if you have any concerns or you want to answer, and then wait until your name is acknowledged. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you
Yes,
for
ma'am.
that. Okay, so thank you. We can now proceed to the with our objectives. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to first identify the general rule using the quantifiers a little, a few, and few. The second one is differentiate the quantifiers with an article a and with no article a. And lastly, construct sentences using these four quantifiers. So is that clear, class? So these are our objectives for today. But then, before we formally begin with our discussion, I have here a short game or a short activity, and it is entitled I check. So here, okay, so I will present pictures, and what you're going to do is to list those objects whether it is countable or countable nouns. Okay, so sound easy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It
Yes,
all right.
ma'am.
So it is an easy task, but here's the twist. The pictures will be presented like this. Okay, okay. Let me return the slide. The pictures, diba, you see there that the pictures will be presented like that. So I will assign two students from your class. May I call Karen and Mena to do this activity?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for that. So now we will begin. Is my instruction clear?
Clear.
All
Okay,
clear.
thank you, Mena. Thank you, Karen. So I will flash the slide. Okay. So what you're going to do is to list the pictures that you will see. So Karen, will you please list the pictures you can see on the left? And Mena will list the pictures on the right side. Okay. Got it, girls?
Got it,
Noted, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So once you are done, you will recite the objectives that you have listed. And we will check it if the pictures are you able to list is correct. If correct. Okay, is that clear? I hope that everything is clear. So there you can start. I will give you 3 minutes. So it is 10:53 a.m. on my clock. So I will I will ask you if you're done at 10:56 a.m. Are you done, girls?
I'm already done, ma'am.
I'm done, ma'am.
Okay, Karen. All right. So, great to hear that. Okay, let me know your answers. Would you like to go first, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. I would love to. And here are the things that I spotted: apple, egg, bag, book, and cup.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Let's check your answers. There, we have book, an apple, an egg, a cup, and a bag. Okay, thank you for that. Very good. You listed them all. How about Mena? Let me hear your answers.
Okay, ma'am. I found it a little difficult, but here are the things that I have listed. First, water, money, milk, rice, and fire.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's check your answer. There. Okay, you got them all. Very good. So we have their fire, money, milk, rice, and word. Awesome. Both of you have sharp eyes. So thank you for your participation, ladies. So here are the objects you listed. Okay, on the left, we have an apple, egg, book, cup, bag. Well, on the other side, we have water, money, rice, milk, and rice. From these examples, what have you noticed? Would you like to try, Mena?
I think that objects on the left are nouns that can be counted, whereas on the right side, we have the nouns that cannot be counted.
All right, great answer. You are right that, excuse me, you are right that these objects on the left are all count nouns, while on the right side we have non count nouns. I know you are already familiar with these terms, but we will just have a quick review because these two take part on our discussion. Okay, so you are right, it is countable nouns and uncountable nouns. So we will know the definition of the two terms. There, will you please read the slide, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Countable nouns. Countable nouns are for the things we can count using numbers. They have a singular and a plural form.
Okay, thank you. So the singular form can use the determiner a or an. If you want to ask about the quantity of a countable noun, you ask how many. Okay, combined with a plural countable noun. How about uncountable nouns? Will you please read the slide, Mena? All right, wait just a moment. There.
Uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are for the things that we cannot count with numbers. They are used with singular verb. They usually do not have plural form.
Okay, right. So they may be uncountable nouns may be names for abstract ideas or qualities or for physical objects that we are too small or too amorphous to be counted. All right. So like liquids, powders, gases, and the likes. All right. So is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you for that confirmation. So let's have another example. Oh, all right. So we have four examples. Will you please read the first two examples, Mena?
Number one, there is a little that you can do about the situation. Number two, I really would like a little peace and quiet.
All right. So pardon. All right. So the underlined word in number two is a little. Okay. So all right. So a little is the underlined word in number two. How about the last two examples? Will you please read, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Number three. Jesse has a few speeding tickets, so his insurance rate is higher than mine. Ben has few friends in Australia.
Okay, so thank you. From these examples, the underlined words are called. Do you have an idea? Little, a little, a few, few. What do you think these words are called? Okay. Anyone from the class? Yes, Karen.
Ma'am, I think the words little, a little, few, and a few are all quantifiers, if I'm not mistaken, ma'am.
All right. Yes, very good. These underlined words are called quantifiers. All right, so here we are about to learn how beneficial for communicators like us to use quantifiers. Okay, but then let us first define what are quantifiers. Will you please read the definition for the class? Yes, Karen, again.
Quantifiers. Quantifiers are used to indicate the amount or quantity of something referred to by a noun.
Okay, so there it you quantifiers are used to indicate the amount or quantity of something referred to by a noun. So keep in mind that they are different from numbers because they indicate an approximate amount rather than an exact amount. So in this discussion, we will discuss quantifiers specifically a little, little, and a few, few. Okay? Are you ready, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's begin with the quantifiers a little and little. All right, so I will read the examples. I like coffee with a little milk. The second one is I've got little money left in my account. So, from these examples, what have you noticed? Can I hear an answer or can I hear an observation? Anyone from the class? Yes, Mena.
Ma'am, I noticed that there is a pattern in these examples. The quantifiers a lil or lil are followed by uncountable nouns.
All right, good observation, Mena. You are correct that there is a pattern. So from this example, we can notice that the quantifiers a little and little are used based on the adequacy of the amount. So through this, we can identify whether the amount of the noun used is sufficient or noun. All right, so proceed to the next slide, just like what Mena said, that there is a pattern. So a little and little are used with non-count nouns or uncountable nouns. So under of that is the pattern. A little, little plus uncountable nouns. And the given examples are a little milk, little money. So what are the underlined words, Karen?
Milk and money are the underlined words, ma'am, from the given sentences.
Okay, very good. So milk and money are what type of noun, Karen?
These nouns, milk and money, are considered to be uncountable nouns, ma'am.
All right, very good. So you are right that milk and money are nouns that cannot be counted. We cannot say I have two monies, I have little milks. All right? So I have one milks. All right? So we cannot say those kind of sentences. So let's have some examples. Will you please read the first example, Mena?
Here are some examples. Number one, I always enjoy a little cream and sugar in my coffee.
All right, very good. And from that sentence, what type of noun is being used?
The uncountable noun.
All right, very good. And what quantifier comes before the noun?
A little.
All right, very good. So you are right that the quantifier being used is a little. All right, so therefore, this statement follows the pattern a little plus the uncountable nouns, cream, and sugar. So thank you for that, Mena. And let's have another example. Karen, will you please read?
Little. There's very little time before the show starts. I don't think we have time for a coffee.
All right, thank you. So let me ask you, what noun is being used in this example?
Um, I think it's uncountable noun, ma'am. The word time.
Okay, so very good. So also this sentence follows the pattern. So time is considered to be an uncountable noun. So very good. Is this clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So can you give me an example using these two quantifiers? All right. Who would like to try? Just a simple example. All right, Karen, let me hear your
Um,
example.
yes, ma'am. Let me try. We have a little extra time this afternoon. Do you want to watch a movie?
Okay, very good. So you use the quantifier a little. So it is, I heard that it is followed by an uncountable noun, time. Okay, thank you, Karen. How about you, Mena? Can you give me an example using the quantifier a little?
Yes, ma'am. So, there's a little juice left in this bottle. You can drink it if you're thirsty.
Okay, very good. You are also able to give an example. Awesome. Both of you are doing great so far. Now, you already know that that quantifiers a little and little is being used with a non-count noun. So let's proceed to the next quantifiers. Okay, a few and few. All right, so let's have examples first. Okay, let me read it for you. The first example is we had a few hours left before we had to be at the airport, so we went for a last swim. The second one is very few people enjoy the film despite the stars who act in it. Okay, so from these examples, what have you noticed? Do you have any observation after reading this uh, statements? Yes, Karen?
From these two examples, ma'am, I noticed that there is also a pattern, just like what we've studied earlier. And we use a few followed by a countable noun, ma'am.
All right, very good. So earlier, just like what you have said, um, a little and little are used with non-count nouns. So here, a few and few, you are right that we use these quantifiers with countable nouns. And also, you are right that it follows the grammar pattern. Okay, so thank you for that, Karen. Okay, so Mena, will you please read the next slide? Okay, there you go.
A few and few. A few and few are used with count nouns. A few or few plus plural countable nouns. So, for example, a few hours, few friends.
Okay, thank you for that. So a few and few convey the same meaning as the quantifiers we have earlier, but this time instead of using it with uncountable nouns, these quantifiers are used with plural countable nouns. So as you can see, students and friends are considerably count nouns. Okay, and it is in the plural form. Okay, so please take note of the word plural. When we use this quantifiers, the countable nouns must be in plural form. Okay, so can you give me an example using a few or few, Mena?
Sure, ma'am. So,
Okay,
mm, I have a few good friends and I'm not lonely.
awesome. So you use the quantifier a few. So very good. You are able to give an example. So now, knowing that these quantifiers, specifically a little and little, are used with uncountable nouns, while a few and few are used with countable nouns. All right. Knowing these terms or this rule is not enough to convey a meaningful statement. So, for us to know how we can actually use these quantifiers in an effective way, excuse me, these sentences, next slide, will help us. Okay, so as you can see, these are the sentences. Let's have a closer look. Will you please read the first two example, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Number one, I have a little money enough for the cinema. Number two, sorry, I have little money. I really can't afford to go out.
All right, thank you, Karen. How about the last two examples? Will you please read it for the class, Mena?
Number three, Tom gave us a few materials for the school project. Number four, Tom gave us a few materials for the school project.
All right, thank you, girls. So after reading it carefully, so after reading these examples, aside from the fact that these quantifiers are used with countable nouns and uncountable nouns, what have you noticed from these examples? All right, so anyone? If you want to answer, you may raise your hand or you may type in your answer on our Google Meet chat box. Yes, Mena.
So I noticed that the quantifiers a little and a few express that there is a little amount, but it is sufficient, whereas the two quantifiers a little and a few also mean not a much or not a many, but it is not sufficient.
Okay, very good. You did have a great observation. How about you, Karen? Do you have any observation upon reading these examples?
Yes, ma'am. I have noticed that The quantifiers a little and a few expresses positive feeling, while both little and few are used to express statements in negative feeling.
All right, indeed. Both of you are keen observers. Okay, you both gave a great explanation, okay, or great observation. So as you can see, every two sentences looks familiar. Okay, so but then let's take a closer look on these examples. They actually do not mean the same thing. So just like what both of you have shared, this leads us to learn more about the differences of quantifiers with an article a and with no article. So before we proceed, do you have any questions?
None so far, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that, Mena. So let's proceed to the next slide. Here we have the main difference of quantifiers with an article a little, a few, and with no article, little, few. So earlier we have discussed that the same rule applies in both quantifiers a little and a few. So same goes with quantifiers little and few. There. So will you please read the slide, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Quantifiers with an article a little, and a few. When we use the quantifiers with an article a little, and a few, we mean a small amount, but it is enough. They also express a positive feeling.
Okay, very good. So knowing that we have enough amount, all right, so it express it expresses a positive feeling, right? So let's take the examples we have earlier. Okay, so I have a little money enough for the cinema. And the second one is Tom gave us a few materials for the school project. So this means that the first example, this means that the little money she has is enough to buy a cinema ticket. All right, so it is a positive statement, right? While the second example, Tom gave us a few materials for the school project, means that the receiver of the materials thinks that it would be a great help for the school project. So therefore, it expresses a positive feeling. Okay, so on the other hand, using quantifiers with no article, little or few, usually gives us a different impression. So let's try to know the reason why. Okay, Mena, will you please read the slide?
Little and few. This also mean a small amount, but this time the amount is almost nothing. If the noun is something that we want, like a money or friends, then using little or few means that we don't have enough, and it gives a statement in a negative sense.
Okay, very good. So please take note that using quantifiers little and few, all right? So if the noun is something that we want, like money or friends, so those are the things that we love. If we use it with little or few, it means that we do not have enough. So then it gives a statement in a negative sense. So let's try to look at these examples. All right. So will you please read it, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I have little money. I really can't afford to go out. Tom gave us few materials for the school project.
All right. Thank you, Karen. So both sentences express negative feelings, right? But all right. So in excuse me, in the first examples, it feels bad when you want to go out with your friends, but having a little money or having little money will give you a second thought. So while on the second example, it expresses disappointment because the recipient or the receiver of the materials expected Tom to give more supplies or materials, but unfortunately, Tom didn't. So, in simple words, if we want to communicate a positive feeling, we use quantifiers with an article. All right. So, while if we use quantifiers with no article, it will change the feeling or the nuance of the sentence. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
knowing this thing, okay, thank you for that. However, if we learn that using few and little express a negative feeling, I have a question. Can we use quantifiers few and little to convey positive statements? Do you think that few and little can also express positive statements? What do you think? Yes or no? Can you tap the raise hand button if your answer is yes? All right. Can I hear some responses? All right. So no worries, ladies. So in a few minutes we will know how. But then the answer from this question is yes. We can use quantifiers few and little to convey positive statements. So for now, it is fine that we do not have an idea, but we believe that we can use these quantifiers to convey positive statements. Okay? So we will try to know how we can effectively use these quantifiers. All right? So here we have an exception. Will you please read the examples, Karen?
Yes, ma'am. Exception. There have been few problems with the new system. Thankfully, there is little crime in my town.
All right. All right. So excuse me. So do these statements express a positive feeling?
Yes, ma'am. They express both positive feeling.
Okay, very good. It does. Okay. So let's try to read the next slide. Okay. Will you please read the description, Mena?
Exception. If we use few or little with a negative noun, then the statement conveys a positive meaning.
All right, thank you. So remember that there is an exception, but this is just an exception. So if we use few or little with a noun that we do not want, then it can have a positive meaning. It is good to have nearly no problem. So let's go back to our examples earlier. Okay, so the first one is there have been few problems with the new system, thankfully. And the second one is there is little crime in my town. So so in number one, sorry. So the noun we used is problems, and problems are something that we do not want, right? So this is a negative thing in many cases. So if we refer to our example, few problems, this means that a small number of problems. So this sentence expresses a good situation. So the problems there is not many. Okay. So, but if I say we have a few problems, this gives a negative feeling, right? So the same goes with little. You can see there in our second example that the noun used is, or the word crime is used on our second example. So, crime is something that we also do not want. However, if we use the quantifier little, it makes a good statement. This means that the crime rate prevailing in the town is little or almost nothing. Is that clear, class?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
All clear.
All right. Thank you for that responses. So, if you do not have, if that's clear, or if everything is clear, can you give me an example of few or little in a positive sense? Who would like to try? Okay. Yes, Karen.
Yes, ma'am. Let me try. I am so pleased that I have few arguments with my family.
All right, there you go. Very good. So you use the quantifier few, and the word there is arguments. Do I hear it right?
Yes, ma'am. Arguments.
Okay, very good. So it does convey a positive statement. How about Mena? Can you give me an example using the quantifier little?
Sure, ma'am. So let me try. It's great that there's been very little bad weather this month.
Okay, there you go. Thank you for that, Mena. And having a little bad weather is it gives a great feeling, right? So excellent. It also conveys a positive statement. All of your answers or all of your examples are right. So do you have any questions regarding our topic? So let me know if you have one before we proceed.
No questions, ma'am.
None so far, ma'am.
All right, very good. Thank you for that. So let us all remember that the quantifiers are used to indicate the amount or quantity of something referred to by a noun. So they indicate an approximate amount rather than an exact amount. So we are having our review now. So later on I will know if you really learned uh our topic. All right. So next, so these are the we have four quantifiers. A little and little are used with non-count nouns or uncountable nouns. And the next pairs are a few and few. These quantifiers are used with with count nouns or countable nouns. Excuse. And next, let us also remember that quantifiers with an article a express positive feelings, while quantifiers with no article express negative feelings. So to summarize it, this table will help us. So this will be our guide in creating or in constructing sentences or statements to convey the meaning that we want. Okay. However, we also discussed that there is an exception. Okay. If the noun that we use is referring to something that is not actually good, such as problems, crimes, pollution, and the like, then we can use quantifiers little and few to make it a positive statement. So few and little can be used to express statements in a positive sense. Just remember that we need to use it with negative nouns. So there, just like problems, crimes, pollution, and the like. So therefore, we need to pay attention. We need to be cautious to the noun that little or few is modifying. Are we clear on that, class?
Yes, ma'am. All
Yes,
clear.
ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have, ma'am. I don't
None
have
so
any
far, ma'am.
questions.
All right. So thank you. Now that everything is all clear, I have four. questions. I want you to answer this based on what you have learned. Okay, so let's proceed to our Q&A portion. All right. So let's have the first question. May I call Karen to answer the first question?
Yes, ma'am. What are the four quantifiers that we have discussed? The four quantifiers that we have discussed today are a little, a few, and few.
Very good. So the four quantifiers we have discussed are a little, a few, and few. Very good, Karen. Next question. Let's have Mena. Would you like to try?
When do we use quantifiers with an article? And when do we use quantifiers with no article?
All right. What do
So
you think?
So I think quantifiers with an article means a small enough, but it is enough, and it also expresses a positive feeling, while quantifiers with no article mean a small amount as well, but it is not enough. And then using this means to express a negative feelings.
All right. Great explanation, Mena. You really remember the lesson. Okay. So now proceeding to the next question. Okay. All right. Anyone from the class? Yes, Karen.
Yes, ma'am. What makes the quantifiers few and little positive? Um, the noun that we will use can change the meaning of the statement we want to convey. If the noun that we use is referring to something that is not actually good, then we can use quantifiers little and few to make it positive one, ma'am.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for that good answer, Karen. And we're down to our last question. So, what do you think is the importance of using quantifiers in conveying a statement? All right. Would you like to try again, Mena?
Yes, ma'am. So that's a good question. So for me, the importance of learning these quantifiers is to be clear about the ideas that we wanted to convey, and then these quantifiers as well help us to indicate like the proper mood or the feeling, because without the knowledge of how to use it properly, it might get us in an awful situation.
All right. I couldn't agree more, Mena. You are right. I am happy that you really learned the lesson. So, indeed, learning this topic would be very beneficial for every person who uses the language. Just like what you have mentioned, if we are clueless about this matter, we might find ourselves in an awful situation. So we do not want to be incomprehensible to the person we are speaking, right? So therefore, we must be cautious. We must pay attention in using the proper quantifier. So thank you for all of your responses, girls. I am glad that you really understood the lesson. Okay, thank you. So now we will practice what we have learned for us to get accustomed to quantifiers a little, a few, and few. So is that fine, class?
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So it will be a filling the blanks type of question. And what you're going to do is to just is to read the sentence first and then give the missing proper quantifier in each statement. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my
All clear po.
Yes,
instruction
ma'am.
clear? Yes, so thank you. All right, so let's now begin to practice. All right, who would like to answer? Just tap the raise hand button and wait until your name is acknowledged. All right. In this item, who would like to try? Yes, Mena.
Number one, it's a great pity, but the hospital has blank medicine. They can't help many people.
All right. From this statement, what do you think is the missing quantifier?
So the answer to that question is little.
All right. So let's see if your answer is correct. All right. So, Mena, your answer is little, and you are correct. So, this statement expresses a negative feeling. Okay. So, there is little medicine, so they can help many people. All right. So, let's have the second one. Karen, would you like to try?
Yes, ma'am. We've got blank time at the weekend. Would you like to meet? I think the missing quantifier here in the sentence is a little, ma'am. We've got a little time at the weekend. Would you like to meet?
Okay. Let's see. Thank you for that, Karen. All right. You are correct. So, there is enough time for them to meet at the weekend. So the answer is a little. Okay, thank you. Now let's proceed to the third one. All right. May I call Mena to please answer the third question?
There are blank people she really trusts. It is a bit sad.
Okay.
So the answer for that item is few. There are few people she really trusts. It's a bit sad.
Okay. So let's see. There you go. So you are right that the answer from this question for this question is view. So similar to the second question, it also expresses a negative feeling. So moving on to the next number, number 4. Okay, so I have blank. Water left. There's enough to share. So I see Karen is raising her hand. Yes, Karen.
Yes, ma'am. The answer to that statement is a little, ma'am. I have a little water left. There's enough to share.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. All right, so very good. You are right that the missing quantifier from for this is a little because water, we all know that it is a non-count noun and there is an indicator that the word is enough to share. Very good, Karen. Now let's have the fifth one. All right. Yes, Mena.
Number five, Julie gave us blank apples from her garden. Shall we share them?
All right.
So the missing quantifier I think is a few because apple is a count noun and there are enough amount of apples to share.
Okay, very good. So you are right that the missing quantifier here is a few, and you also gave a great explanation. So thank you, Mena. Now we are down to our sixth question or sixth statement. What do you think is the answer? Who would like to try? Yes, Karen.
Yes, ma'am. He has blank education. He can read and write. I think the answer to that one is little, ma'am. He has little education. He can read and write.
Okay, let's see. Yes, you are. Correct. So this statement expresses a negative feeling. So little education. All right. Let's proceed to the next item. Number 7. Who would like to try? All right. So may I call Mena to please answer this? All right. Would you like to try, Mena?
Yes, ma'am. So I've got blank cakes to give away. Would you like one? So I think for that item, that would be a few cakes to give away.
Okay. Let's see if your answer is correct. A few. Very good. So you are right. A few is the right answer for this item. So the word cake here is a countable noun, and there is enough amount of cake to share some. Okay. Thank you, Mena. And now, proceeding to the next number. All right, number 8. All right. So, yes, Karen.
Um, Selena is lucky she has blank problems. I think the answer for this one is the quantifier few. She has
Okay.
few problems. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. Your answer is few, and it is correct. So using few here makes the statement a positive one. So you remember the exception that we have discussed, all right? So problems here is a negative noun, but then we use the quantifier few and it makes the statement a positive one. Thank you, Karen. So we are down to the last two questions. All right? So we have the ninth item. All right. So, who would like to answer this item? Yes, Mena.
Number 9, are you thirsty? There's blank juice left in this bottle if you would like. So I
The
think the
missing.
answer for that is the quantifier a little.
All right. So, thank you, Mena. Let's check. Very good. So, you are correct. So, are you thirsty? There's a little juice left in this bottle if you'd like it. So, a enough there is enough amount of juice left in the bottle. So, if the person like it, so she can or he she or he can drink it. All right. So thank you for that. And the last one. All right. So the city has blank pollution. What do you think is the missing quantifier here, Karen?
The city has little pollution, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you. We'll see if your answer is correct. All right, great. So you gave the right answer. So pollution is something that we do not want. So to make it positive, we use little. So thank you. So thank you for all of your responses, ladies. I am glad that you are all participative. I believe that you have learned a lot from today's discussion. All right.
Yes, ma'am. We've learned a lot po.
Yes, ma'am, we learn a
Okay.
lot po.
Okay, thank you for that. It is great to hear that. Thank you, ladies. And I still have. All right, so I guess there is a limited time. So this activity, we will make it as an hour assignment. Okay, so will you please read the direction, Mena?
So construct five sentences each using the following quantifiers. For the first one, a lil, a few, and few.
Okay. Thank you, Mena. So, your assignment is to construct five sentences each using the following quantifiers: a little, a few, few. So, I will be expecting a total of 20 sentences. So, I think I will add the exception that we have discussed. So you will construct five sentences each using the following quantifiers. So these are the four quantifiers that we have. But then we have the exception, few and little. So what I want you to do is to add the quantifiers few and little. So I will be expecting a total of 30 sentences. Okay? The few and little expressing the statement in a positive sense. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear,
All clear
ma'am.
po.
Okay. Uh, I'm glad that everything is all clear. So, do you have any question?
None so far, ma'am. I don't have any questions po.
How about you, Mena? Do you have any question?
None so far, ma'am.
All right. So if you do not have any questions, then that's the end of today's discussion. So I would like to extend my gratitude for your participation. So congratulate yourself because you did a great job. So thank you, class. You may let's see in our next meeting. So you may leave the call now and enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Let me stop the presentation. Call